Hello, welcome back to In a Nutshell. Okay, it's very different to what you're used to, but I'm on the move, so I've got a different camera, different setup, but exactly the same content. So let's get into the top stories from the week. I have called this one Rent a Volcano. You will see why. Let's just skip this part. We've got a quote which is it's impossible only if we make it so. It's impossible only if we refuse to attempt it. And this was actually linked to the episode that we just released with Save the Children. And it's amazing. We have Antonia Rupel on, and she is the head of Bitcoin at Save the Children. A lot of people don't know that Save the Children and charities are getting into Bitcoin and how they're using it. Really good episode. I would highly recommend going and watching that. Anyway, let's get into this. So Rent a Volcano. So this is all about President Bukele in El Salvador. Someone said that there's 170 volcanoes in El Salvador. And then Bukele was like, oh, here's an idea. We could rent a volcano. That might work. So he didn't give out any official plans, but it's a really cool idea because a lot of people are looking for that geothermal energy to actually mine Bitcoin. And currently it's not getting used, or it's not all getting used in El Salvador. I thought this was really interesting and a very interesting concept that could become the norm in a few years. Anyway, next one is, this is a biggie, and this isn't anything to do with Bitcoin, but it does emphasize why Bitcoin and the scarcity of Bitcoin. So in China, they discovered $83 billion worth of gold. And this accounts to 0.5% of the global gold that has been mined to date. So 0.5%, the supply has just gone up. They haven't dug it out yet, but we've found more. So scarcity, when we bring that in, Bitcoin's capped at 21 million. We don't actually know what gold is capped at. And this is such a big find for gold. There could be way, way, way more gold. And as I've talked about before, there are missions currently happening with NASA and SpaceX going to look at asteroids because of the precious metals. But we don't know how much is on this Earth. This was really interesting and just emphasizes the scarcity of Bitcoin. Next, a Swiss state votes to study Bitcoin mining. This was huge, or I think this is huge. So Bern, which is a canton or a state in Switzerland, has passed legislation to study Bitcoin mining. It passed with quite a big amount, so 85 to 48 in favor. But what they're going to study is utilizing unused energy for producing Bitcoin. And they will also study how Bitcoin mining could potentially be used to stabilize the energy grid. If you had listened to my talk with my podcast with Daniel Batten, you will see that game theory is now kicking in because in Texas, ERCOT, they have been stabilizing the grid with Bitcoin mining. And now other countries, other locations are realizing, oh, okay, we could actually do with this now as we move more towards sustainable energy sources, which are intermittent. If you want to learn more about that, then go and watch the episode with Daniel Batten. Really cool. This is very cool and a very big development for Europe as a whole, I see it as. Next, the FCA. Also nothing to do with Bitcoin, but the FCA have been very strict when it comes to Bitcoin and Bitcoin products in the UK. So the FCA is the Financial Conduct Authority here. And a report just came out this week saying that they are incompetent at best, dishonest at worst. It was a very, very scathing report on the FCA, something that a lot of us have known, like that is the case with them. But for this report to come out was not a good look for them at all. Next, there's just game theory kicking in everywhere. When one domino falls, the next fall. So Brazil now have introduced legislation to create a Bitcoin reserve that would hold up to 5% of the country's international reserves. But, there's a big but here. The proposed reserves would back the issuance of DREX, which is their version of a CBDC, which is a central bank digital currency. And it includes advanced monitoring systems using AI and blockchain technology to ensure transaction integrity. Now, holding Bitcoin as a national reserve, good. CBDC, which can still be controlled, not good. So there's a big caveat to that story. Next, we talked about this, but please go and watch it. It is amazing, and it's just we're all fixated on the price of Bitcoin at the moment and what's happening with it as a form of investment, an investment tool. So a lot of people see it as. This totally shifts that, and it shows you what's happening on the other side when it's a medium of exchange for people who don't have the privilege of being able to have savings. This is huge. Please go and watch it. And we will quick fire through these. So video platform Rumble adds Bitcoin to its treasury. It's planning to add, I think, $20 million worth of Bitcoin. This is game theory when it comes to corporate treasuries, because we've had Michael Saylor, we've had countless other companies now following suit. Number 2 is Bitcoin displayed like in 5. So Coin Corner released a short book, and I've not read it yet. I think it's in the post, so I'll give it more of an idea when I get it. But they released a book, and I really like this because it's what I'm all about. Like, how can we explain Bitcoin better? So I'm excited for this one. Namecheap amasses 73 million in Bitcoin revenue with over 1.1 million transactions. Number 4 is Germany's $3 billion mistake. So as a lot of you will know, Germany sold Bitcoin a few months ago, and now they're being regarded as the new pizza guy. This is a really cool video by Joe Nakamoto, some of you might know him by. I would recommend going and watching this, and there is some free Bitcoin snuck into the video. Number 5 is resurfaced Naval Ravikant tweet from 2014 about Bitcoin. I'm actually just going to show you this one. So here you can see the tweet. If you're a small country that would like to be the richest per capita, buy up all the Bitcoin you can and announce adoption. You're welcome. But the date, January 2014. That's why it's such a big deal. I thought that was just a cool thing that got dug up. Number 6, how crazy is this? Like, I've put this so far down, but MicroStrategy has acquired another 55.5 thousand Bitcoin for 5.4 billion. Wow, that was a tongue twister. But it's not a top story anymore. I haven't put that as a top story because they're buying so much. It's still crazy amount, but I can't just make it a top story every single week. So I think that was their biggest buy, actually. Number 7, Senator Ted Cruz has came out and said, I aim for Texas to be a hub for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. He's been very pro-Bitcoin for a while now. 8 is former CFTC chair says US Bitcoin reserve makes a lot of sense. That's a really short video. Recommend just going to watch it. And then Hong Kong to eliminate capital gains tax on Bitcoin because they're now trying to be a global crypto hub. Something that the UK said that they were going to do a couple of years ago hasn't transpired, and I would say we've gone the negative way on that. And then finally, Japan's largest electricity provider makes unexpected move with Bitcoin. Okay, that is everything for this week. I hope that we rattle through it. Sorry about the production. It's not as clean as it usually is, but I hope all the content's still there and you enjoyed this. Please go and subscribe to our podcast. Go and subscribe to the newsletter. It's totally free. You can get it on a Friday. And have a good weekend. Ciao.